See that? Hey, grace and peace, y'all. I haven't done a video in a while, but I've been getting a lot of questions coming in. So I said, let me try to take my time and answer some of these things. Somebody recently said, Berean, the white man took the book of Enoch out of the Bible. Why don't you explain that to the people? And I'm gonna attempt to try to do that. I'm gonna try to attempt to explain a few things concerning the book of Enoch. A lot of times people use the book of Enoch. I know some Israelite gentlemen that use the book of Enoch, and they claim that they can prove through Enoch that blacks are Israelites. Some of the people, conspiracy theorists, say they can prove through Enoch that the world is flat, and these are problems that people's been having throughout the years with books in general. When we deal with Enoch, Enoch is considered pseudepigrapha, and that means that it's just false. It's a false writing. And it's not saying that the doctrines in there are false per se, but pseudepigraphal writings are writings that are attributed to someone else. And this was something that was prevalent back in the days, especially during Second Temple Judaism. When we say Second Temple Judaism or the Second Temple period, we're talking about 500 BC all the way down to about 70 AD when the temple was destroyed. And this is where the book of Enoch actually comes from, and a lot of other writings that many Protestants don't hold to, that were written in Greek or whatever, that came about later on. And the problem with that is we have evidence. We don't have any evidence to the fact that Enoch was written by the original Enoch. Most scholars in the field, and I often talk about scholars in the field, and people get upset, why are you always talking about scholars? If we go to court, even if you go back to the O.J. Simpson case, the Arias case, the Scott Peterson case, any high-end case with expensive lawyers and a death penalty and life imprisonment, anything like that that's on the line, they want expert witnesses. Why is that? The lawyers know that they're professionals in the law, but when it comes to gun splatter, they have to call Dr. Lee. When it comes to autopsies and the pathologists, they have to call Dr. Bynum, and they have specialists in the specific field because everybody want to hear what the specialists have to say. The specialist carries more weight than the average person in the street. And for some reason, a lot of people don't understand that when it comes to YouTube and Facebook, and everybody can be a scholar and not a specialist, and people don't understand the importance of it. Let me give you another example. Back in the days, it was interesting. A matter of fact, about a year ago, there was something that took place, and the police chief was there. It was down south. Fox News was there. The police chief was there, and they were talking about this break-in case. And there was a black lady, and she was doing this and showing signs and all of this stuff. And the police chief was there. Detectives were there, and the mayor was there also, I believe, and all the news cameras. And a mother that had a daughter that was deaf, the mother that knew sign language, and a school that teaches sign language in another county, they saw what the lady was doing, and they called up there. They said, who is that lady on live television? That's not sign language. Now, the lady was there, and she fooled all the detectives and the mayor and the chief of police and the cameramen and everybody else. But when specialists saw what she was doing, immediately they called up there and they said, that lady is a fraud. That's not really sign language and what she was doing. So a lot of people don't understand. We speak about professionals in the field for a specific reason, because they carry more weight. If it's the same way in the courtroom, why wouldn't we do the same thing when it comes to religion, when it comes to spiritual matters, when it comes to history? Why wouldn't we do the same thing? But for some reason, people are caught up on a conspiracy. The white man is trying to hide things. So back to the book of Enoch. When we deal with Enoch, most scholars in the field will tell you that Enoch was comprised over a certain period of time. One person didn't sit there and write it. I don't know of any scholar in the field that believed the real Enoch wrote that, and Noah had it on the ark, and David had it in the temple in the beginning, and Solomon had it, and this book was prevalent among Israelites way back in the days. We don't really have evidence of that. We do have evidence that Enoch was found among the Dead Sea Scrolls. Now, I'm going to explain one other thing. Because something is found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, don't mean that that it's canonical. Let's just put it that way. Maybe later on in part 2, I'll talk about the Council of Jamnia or whatever. But that does, just because something is found among some writings, that just means that they like to read, and they read different things. If I, for example, if I was to walk in a pastor's office and I would see the Apologetic Study Bible, Parallel Bible, the King James Bible, then I would see a book by Tony Evans, I would see a book by Dr. Eric Mason. There's no confusion between me, the pastor, and no one else. They know Tony Evans' book is not on the level of the King James Bible. But it's okay to have it right there on your shelf with the Bible to read it. And this is what many people have done back in the days. Many people have read and acknowledged and was even influenced by non-canonical works, or let's say specifically the Book of Enoch. Because when we classify these books, they're different, and scholars classify them differently for a reason. For example, the Book of Enoch and Gad and Jasher, those are books that's in the Bible that the Bible speak about. And they carry a little more weight than what we would say the Gospel of Mary Magdalene or the Gospel of Peter, or things that are considered Gnostic Gospels or Gnostic writings that come from different people. So it's important to understand where these books come from, how these books come down, and how early believers viewed these books. There were plenty of books that early believers viewed and they acknowledged in high regard, but they didn't consider canon. The Didache, we have the Shepherd of Herms, we have the Epistle of Barnabas, not the Gospel of Barnabas, the Epistle of Barnabas. And a lot of people are confused about these things. So when y'all start emailing me and telling me certain things, you're really not speaking as an expert witness. You really don't know what you're talking about, but you're following a conspiracy theory that the white man is hiding something. That's how come Enoch is not in the book, and all these other things. The truth of the matter is, most scholars in the field, if you're on YouTube, Ken Johnson, PhD scholar in the field, Mike Heiser, scholar in the field, D.A. Carson, scholar in the field. We're saying that because they can come as special witnesses. They can come and they can speak to it because that's specifically what they do. But a lot of people are confused. That's how come we would see people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's a astrophysicist, and we would see him discussing the Epic of Gilgamesh, and all of a sudden he's authority on religion. That's not so. That wouldn't work in the court of law. Now, Neil deGrasse Tyson, as a specialist, he can come and he can testify, or he can talk to me as a professional, dealing with a nova, dealing with a supernova, dealing with the moon and the gravitational pull of the moon on the earth and the ocean and the water. He can deal in that manner because that is his lane. That's what he does. So he can speak as a special prosecution witness on that subject. He can't speak as a special prosecution witness on the Epic of Gilgamesh. So y'all have to understand where these things come from. If you like what you heard, subscribe. We're teaching all of these things in Sunday seminary. You can get in touch with me at bereanteach@gmail.com. That's bereanteach@gmail.com. Listen to the specialists and stop listening to this madness on YouTube. Thanks for watching.